I mean, I'd never ever done anything like that ever. And then all of a sudden, I was like, whoa, it's our wedding night. Like, this is a big deal. And I have no idea what I'm doing. And he has no idea what he's doing. He's never had sex either. Um, yeah, but I wasn't going to talk to my mom about it, like, because we'd never talked before then.
Are you tired of the mental chatter? The counting, the restricting, the punishing? Are you done standing in front of the mirror picking yourself apart? Done waiting until you're thinner or more motivated or finally feel ready before you start actually living your life? Good, because confidence isn't something you earn, it's something you decide. Welcome to Your Unapologetic Life, your go-to podcast for women who are ready to stop shrinking and start showing up fully in the body they have right now. I'm your host, Morgan Barkis, author, speaker, exotic dance instructor, and empowerment coach for women. I earned my master's degree in marriage and family therapy while stripping to pay for graduate school. And I enjoyed the work so much, I ended up dancing for over a decade. Now I coach women who are ready to flip the negative self-talk, rewrite the stories that have kept them playing small, and feel powerful and confident in their bodies without the strict diets, soul-crushing workouts, and another quick fix that never really actually works. This is not positive affirmation confidence. This is confidence embodied. Every episode is designed to help you ditch the insecurities, reclaim your body, and live like the unapologetic woman you were always meant to be. Whether I'm flying solo or bringing you a raw, unfiltered conversation with remarkable women, this is your space to be honest, to get free, and get loud. Turn up the volume, listen at 1.5 speed while you're doing other things, and strap in because me, I'm a crazy driver. Let's get into this episode. What I like to do, and I think it's kind of a Where's Waldo thing, place you geographically, because I've moved around so much and I like to hear where people are living and where they're from. So let's start with where we put a pin in it. Where's Eliza's pin right now, geographically?
Okay, awesome. Well, geographically, I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Is that where you're there now?
No, now I live just 2 hours south in a little farming town.
If we go, so we'll work backwards. So you grew up in a small farming, or you're there in a small farming town now?
Yeah, now. Yeah, I grew up.
All right, so let me go back. I want to know, Eliza, little Salt Lake City, Eliza. So you were born and raised there. How long did you stay there? And what was life like in Salt Lake City? I've only passed through the airport, and folks seem real nice, and they have good beers.
They do have both of those things. Well, I haven't had their beer, but they are nice. Let's see. So I grew up on the west side of Salt Lake City in a town called Magna, which is, if you've heard of Kennecott Copper Mine, it's like the biggest copper mine. You can see it from outer space, was our claim to fame. Yeah.
Okay.
So we grew up there. It originally was a little mining town, but now it grew into a city. It was a very poor neighborhood, very poor town, kind of the ghetto. I mean, not really, like not compared to like other places, but it is kind of rougher area. And I was in the same bedroom for all my 18 years living in that town. So we stayed in the same house, same room, youngest of 7. It was really fun. We ran around, me and my sister are 2 years old apart, and we'd run around and play night games and just get into trouble. It was awesome. So some scary things. It was like, oh yeah, I could have died. But
wait, give me an example. You can't just throw that out there.
It's just so funny. Like, you think life is normal when you're growing up, and then you move out and you're like, that's not normal. I was a terrible driver. And so I accidentally cut someone off in my town. I breezed past the stop sign, and it happened to be a car of gangbangers. And so they followed us through this neighborhood, swearing, flashing. They're like, hey, and you cut me off. And then they saw that I was just a scared 16-year-old girl. And then they just drove past me. I was like, oh my gosh, that was really scary. And then I just drove home. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Were you with your sister at that time, or by yourself?
I was with some friends. So I didn't know what to do. Okay. We just pulled into some random person's house and waited for those people to leave. It's like, oh, Okay, that could have been really bad. But or like we were
Yeah.
out playing night games and this this drunk lady that came and joined us. Don't know who she is. She's just like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" We're like, "Oh, playing night games." She's like, "I want to play." Okay, sure.
Wait a second. So this was like a grown ass woman that's like, "Hey kids,
Yeah,
can I come and play?"
yeah, it was. And then she like stumbles off down the street. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. But like as a mom, it's like, oh my gosh, was that really my childhood? That was kind of scary. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think why we didn't grow up in a neighborhood. My brother and I, we grew up in the country, so that we didn't have neighbors or like neighborhood kids or
mhm.
anything. And my mom would talk about her childhood in our small town of Wisconsin, and they'd be gone all day. The kids. Was a tribe of 5 kiddos, and they kind of all had their groups of friends, and they would be gone all day long. My mom never would have let us do that. She even let me ride my bike to my grandparents by myself. So for what they did back when they were kids compared to now. So tell me about growing up. So you and I met, and I found out that you are
Mhm.
Mormon, and I want to know what influence that had. I did not grow up in a religious household. My paternal grandparents were Catholic. My grandmother was more practicing, if you will. I wasn't around my maternal grandparents much, and I don't think they were terribly religious. Lutheran, though, in background, I believe. So, anyway, I'm just wondering what influence religion had for you growing up, and then also when you started
Yeah.
dating.
So I started dating when I was 16,
Okay.
but we'll back up. Well,
Is it because you were finally interested in boys, or like your parents finally allowed you to start dating, or what was
yeah, that was
16?
just the standard at the time. That was just kind of the like
Okay.
cultural rule of like you could start
Cool.
dating pairing off at 16. So growing up Mormon was really a beautiful experience for me. Really. Sorry. It was very loving. My parents were very loving. I grew up, my parents and siblings just like adored me and each other. Like it was just very loving and compassionate and understanding for whoever and whatever walk of life you were in. And that's sort
Hmm.
of how I experienced the church growing up. Like I was like, you know what? I know for sure that there is a God and that He just loves me and just is here for me. And then there's like standards that the church has for teenagers. It's a little book called The Strength of Youth, or it was. It's called something else now. But it just has like guidelines for teenagers. So, like, girls should dress modestly so that you're not like showing off your body, dating and no pairing off till you're 16, like, no drugs or alcohol, just take care of your body, and, like, just different types of things like that. And my brothers were a little bit wild growing up. They like were,
Good for them.
yeah, right. Oh my gosh, they're the best. But they were like into drugs and all these things. And so growing up in the church actually was really comfortable for me because I saw all this chaos and I was like, oh, I don't want that. And here's a reason why I'm not supposed to. So it's just kind of meshed with how I was trying to provide safety for myself, anyways. But it also was really uh, was really difficult. I was a late bloomer. And so, like at 16, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm actually kind of pretty. And like learned how to do my hair and my makeup. Boys started noticing me, and that was weird for me. And I wasn't quite sure how that fit in with the church standards because it's like, oh, you're not supposed to date till you're 16. But now I am having all these hormones, and like boys are noticing me, and like I
Hmm.
have a body to show off and I kind of want to. And so I kind of shamed that part of me and like used those standards and that infrastructure that I was given, just really, really like leaned too far into it and like kind of abandoned my own thinking for whatever thinking I felt like my family and the church had.
So, how did you manage that? 'Cause when you think about it, you're like, be modest. I'm guessing you can probably pair off, as you
Mhm.
say, and not have sex. Is that the case? You're not supposed to have sex till
Yeah,
marriage?
yep, yep.
But
Good
yes,
job.
okay. So you're allowed to make out and pair off, but you can't have sex till you get married. But I'm assuming there was a cognitive dissonance or some like emotional struggle, if you will, because you're like, God, I'm feeling kind of cute and I want to dress up and I want to date. But am I a bad person because of these standards? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And like, how did you manage
Hmm.
that? Those feelings? Did you talk to your sister? Was your mom open to chatting about that? How did you talk about
I
it?
actually didn't talk to my mom. She was very closed
Okay.
off. We didn't talk about like sex ever. Like right before
Mhm.
when I was engaged, she was like, by the way, you're gonna have sex. I was like, oh, thanks, mom. Got it.
Newsflash.
Glad you told me that's part of this relationship that I'm entering. So
Yeah.
I talked to my sister and she was more wild about, but she was more wild than me and more free. And she's like, no, it's fine. I'm just going to do whatever I want. It's like, well, I don't really want that. I'm not quite sure if that's right, but I don't know what I feel comfortable with. And so I did have
Mhm.
theirs in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints is the long name, but I will call them Mormon for our podcast. They have leaders that are over like the youth at church. You go to these different classes and there's like it's called a young women's leader, and they come and teach the girls from 12 to 18 just about like the gospel and different things about Jesus Christ and finding themselves and morality. And one of my leaders was just this like hip, cool, young, newly married lady. And so I talked to her a lot. I was like, hey, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what this is. I don't know where my standards are. Like, I like these boys, but I'm not quite sure like how far I can take it or what actually is it okay. And we had a lot of really good conversations. And she just lovingly was like, you know what, it's really up to you and what you feel comfortable with. And that she wasn't shaming or she didn't make me feel bad about myself at all. But she did try to just like guide me to myself, but also like kind of stay in that framework of these standards that we had in the church. So that was really helpful. And
Was it freeing as well? I mean, did it take some pressure off of
yeah,
you?
yeah, it was super freeing to like actually be able to talk to someone. And she was just open and she's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Like, I'll answer whatever questions you want. And I feel like she really saw me and my sister as these two young kids in a struggling family. And we just didn't really have anyone. So she just took us under her wing and spent a lot of time with us. And that was really special and cool. So it was still confusing, but it wasn't as confusing. It's like, okay, I think I can figure this out.
And I'm assuming you did do some dating because you said I liked the boys. And how often did you date before you decided to get with your husband? What did that journey look like?
I did date, sort of. So I was like, I was so awkward. I was like the most awkward little girl. I had these funny teeth, like my front teeth kind of looked like vampire teeth, and they came way out. I never matched my clothes. I like ran around just like a wild feral person. And so then as I got older, as I like became a teenager and was like, oh, I'm gonna match my clothes and do my hair and like put on deodorant, like all these basic things. So then boys would be like, hey, I like you. And we'd go on a group date, like with a bunch of other people. And that was fun. Like, oh, I love this. This is fun. We like hold hands, I like get little butterflies. And then they'd be like, I really, really like you. I want to just date just you. Let's just go to the movies, you and me. And then, Morgan, this was terrible. Then I would just stop talking to them and then ghost them. Like, I see them in the hall and I'd be like, no, not talking to you. Even if I really liked them and I was like, this was really awesome. But as soon as they wanted to move the relationship forward, I'd be like, oh no, no, now we're done because this is getting serious and I don't know how to sit in that space. And
More about that. And I say this because I was a late bloomer in some ways too, in that I didn't date much, little bit, and never even kissed anybody I dated. And then at 18, finally, one of my best friends were like, well, neither one of us has kissed each other. Or kissed anyone. Maybe we should just kiss each other and like just get it over with. So we did. And it was like, oh, okay, this is not, I guess I didn't really date or because I was afraid of what I didn't know how to do. And anyway, I'm just curious if you looking back, what your hesitation was about that. Like you didn't want to be settled down, if you will, or what was the hesitation?
I think it was both. Like, I didn't want to be settled down, and I was super nervous if like a boy wanted to be more sexual with me. I didn't know what to do in that situation. Like, I never wanted to.
None of us do. Isn't that crazy that they teach us all kinds of things like math and science, and they don't teach you how to put on a tampon or what sex
Mm-hmm.
is?
Yeah. or like how to be like, thank you for thinking I'm beautiful, and I don't want to do that, and like that's an okay, safe boundary to have.
Boundaries. Yep, 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 yep. No, it would be great if we learned boundaries,
Yeah.
budgeting. I got out on my own and I didn't know that life costs as much as it did. And I only made this much as a server and my bills were that much. Like I was like, boy, we didn't get that in school. And then I think they do that
You really do.
nowadays better than they used to when I was a kid. But anyway, they definitely don't go into the details, especially as women, how to set boundaries. They only teach you about my experience anyway was sexual harassment and that it's not okay. And there were no lessons about boundaries or that sex is okay if, or like it's okay to make out with someone as long as, and if soon as it doesn't feel good, you can say this or that,
Right.
you know. No one ever taught us that kind of
No,
stuff.
no, not at all. And a lot of, I don't know if this was like culturally taught in the church that I grew up in, or if it's like culturally as a woman, but somehow, somewhere along the way, I learned that like men's sexuality, it was my sole responsibility to make sure that the men around me stayed pure. So probably church. And like that was never.
Wait. Pause. Wait, what do you mean? I don't understand this
Okay.
pure thing. You mean
Yeah, yeah,
virgins?
like virgins.
Or
Like if things went too far, it was my fault. Yeah, as a woman.
wow,
Yeah,
wow. Okay, now it's my
right.
fault.
So
Wow.
yeah, and like that was never.
So wait now, so if you're 16, 17 and a boy is like trying to get in your pants, so it would be your fault because you were what, too attractive or you were too nice or you
I don't
what?
know.
Like
Like
what
you were
was
too
the
something. Like you were wearing, you weren't being modest enough, or you like led him on, or you were being too agreeable. So like those words were never actually said to me. Like no one said, "Hey, Eliza, it's your responsibility to make sure that things never escalate." Any relationship in your life, you're responsible for that man's sexuality. But
okay.
that's what I felt. And so I was just like really terrified and was like, I don't know, really, I was really flirty, but I didn't actually realize it. And so I'd like, there'd be these boys that are like, I just really like you. We have this connection. You're like snuggling up to me and we're sitting on the couch. And then they'd go in to kiss me and I'd be like, whoa, what is happening here? We're just like hanging out. And so it's this total miscommunication.
Also, again, going back to that dissonance for you, it's you probably wanted to, but then you're like, but I'm a bad person if he
Right.
does go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I had a lot of that, and I didn't actually kiss anyone either. I was the lead in my school play. It was fantastic in theater. Took state, and it was really fun. Anyway, so I was lead with this boy that I had been friends with. Like he was my first date when I was 16 and my first like crush. And we went to these dances and stuff. And then it just kind of fizzled out and we were just friends. And then as seniors, we were playing opposites of each other in the play. And when I found out that I got the lead, he's like, Eliza, he came and we were the only ones there at the door. There was a list of like who got what part. We were the only ones there. And he's like, Eliza, I'm in love with you. I was like, what? And he's like, oh, I in the play, or I'm in my person's in love with you in the play. It's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Like, this is fun. And so then, like, this relationship kind of built as we practiced together, and we were supposed to kiss a bunch of times in the play, and we did. And he tried like French kissing me, and I was like, what is? I don't know what this is. And he's like, oh, we're just supposed to kiss a long time so that the audience can like know that we're kissing. It's like, okay. And so then I was talking to my other friend about it. I was like, he's like trying to French kiss me. And my other friend's like, went and talked to him. He's like, oh, I'll talk to him. And so my friend who is also a boy went and talked to him. I don't know what he said, but then after that, he like was really bashful. And anyway, he's like, oh, I'm really sorry. I just don't know what's happening. Like, because you didn't talk to me. Anyway, so that's my experience. I went to college when I was 18 and met Dan. He's my husband.
Where did you, so you left obviously small town, and it sounds like you were a bit of a superstar with the theater and all that jazz. So where did you go to school and what did you go to school for?
I went to school, so my town was, I mean, it was small for Salt Lake, but it was actually like a really pretty big town. It was just like suburbs.
Okay.
And then I went to a smaller town in Utah called Snow College. It was just a junior college and was going to be a social worker. I thought that was really cool. I was like, I really want to help families and help kids who are struggling. And then I sat through some of their classes and the teacher just like didn't hold anything back. She's like, hey, if you can't handle a semester of this, you can't be a social worker. And just like hit us with all the hard stuff and all the hard stories. And I was like, I can't do that. Like, this is my heart is too soft for this. So yeah, then I decided to do early childhood education, which I loved and has been super helpful as a mom. I was like, oh, okay, your brain is like developing normal and how you're acting is actually really appropriate for a 10-year-old. This is okay.
That's awesome. Yeah. And where did Dan fit into that time in college?
So we stayed at a fourplex just off of campus, and he lived below me and my roommates. One of my roommates went to the same tiny town as him, and she was like, oh my goodness, excuse me, he's like so dreamy. He's just the best. And like, he plays football and he's a wrestler, and he's just his muscles, and like went on and on and on about Dan. And so we watched out the window for like a week. Me and my roommates were like little puppies out the window. Is that Dan? Is that Dan? And he finally pulled in, and poor Dan, he pulled in with his truck. It was like flatbed, which I had never even seen because I'm a city girl. And before he even made it to his door, we all like stumbled out of my apartment. We're like, oh, hi. Oh, you must be Dan. You must be Dan. He's like, what is happening? Yeah, it was so funny. So my roommates loved him. He started dating me. He came over all the time and then was like, hey, I actually really like you. And we started.
Wait, how did it work with the roommate that thought, he was the hot stud with the muscles? I mean, it was was she disappointed that he actually took a liking to you compared to her? What didn't really matter? She was just talking about the cute guy next door?
No, she didn't really care. She was like, she thought lots of people were cute. So she's like, oh, let me show you guys this one guy. And then there's nothing there. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go find someone else that's cute.
Yeah. And was he romantic? Did he court you? Your mute cute is cute. How long did it take you guys to want to be married? And from someone who was more hesitant in her high school years about dating, how long did it take you to be like, I like this guy and I want to be serious?
It took us maybe about a month. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not like super long. I was like, hey, I really like him. But my best friend who went to high school with me and was my roommate came, and she's like, I'm just in love with Dan. He's the most amazing person. It's like, okay, that's cool. Go for you. Good for you. At the time, so in the Mormon church, young men and young women go on something called a mission. And the men go for 2 years, and where they go and serve and teach and just help people learn about Jesus Christ. And the women go for 18 months. And at the time, women had to be 21 before you could volunteer to go. So that was my plan. I was like, cool, that's fine. You can date this guy. I'm putting in my time until I'm 21, then I'm out of here. I'm going to go serve a mission. And, so she just invited him over all the time. She's like, oh, he's so dreamy. And the more she invited him over, the more time we spent together. I was like, I just really like him. He is so great. It's like, no, but Marla likes him and I'm going on a mission. And then after about a month, he's like, I can't remember how it happened, but he's like, let's go for a walk. And he's like, I really like you, but you like Marla. You're over all the time. He's like, no, I'm over all the time because I really like you. Okay, I kind of like you too. So we started dating, and it was really fun. And we kissed for the first time, and that was awkward because I don't know how to kiss. So it was I had imagined this really beautiful Hallmark kiss moment, and instead it was how to move my head. Okay, well, we did that. Out of the way. Got it. Got it done.
No, you said you don't know how to kiss. You didn't know how. I'm assuming you know how now.
Yeah, I'm well versed in it now.
You had to practice. Yeah. And so you obviously didn't go on the mission then at 21 because it sounds like you got together with him and then you two were like, let's make this a thing.
Yeah. So we got together. We dated 3 months and then he proposed, and we were engaged for 3 months and then we got married. So I was 19, he was 21. We're just like babies.
Yeah. Now, wait, did you have premarital sex?
I did not. No,
You did
no,
it?
no. We
Wow.
like kissed and made out, and that was it. That's as far as it went.
Okay, so when mom was like, "Hey, by the way, you're gonna have sex
Hmm.
probably tonight after this wedding reception," you were like, "Yes, I know." And I'm assuming you're nervous. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I mean,
wasn't.
I was nervous, but like, yeah, I mean, I'd never ever done anything like that ever. And then all of a sudden, I was like, whoa, it's our wedding night. Like, this is a big deal. And I have no idea what I'm doing. And he has no idea what he's doing. He's never had sex either. Um, yeah, but I wasn't going to talk to my mom about it, like, because we'd never talked before then. So it's like,
You know what I can't help but think is I'm the kind of person where I'll take a class or read books if I don't know how to do something. And I had a girlfriend of mine ask me to be her maid of honor, and I'd never even been to a wedding, let alone in a wedding. And I was like, "Please don't pick me. Please choose anyone but me." And she's like, "No, no, I think you'll be the most fun." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So I bought like 2 books on how to be a bridesmaid because I didn't know, and it was prior to Google. Like you can't just now you can just Google what am I supposed to do as a maid of
right.
honor? I didn't know. But anyway, I say that to say that's how I do almost everything. Like when I wanted to learn how to give a lap dance, I went to a exotic dance studio that taught that like pole dance and lap dance. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. But I like to take classes, so I probably would have been reading all the books on sex. You probably there wasn't access, or maybe you didn't think to. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna go read up on this.
There was access, yeah, and there were books, like actually books from put out by the Mormon Church that were like, this is how intimacy works, and this is why it's important,
Really?
and yeah, it was like good information. But I obviously am very avoidant of things that make me uncomfortable. So Dan had a friend that handed him a book. I don't think it was like his bachelor party, but somewhere between when we got engaged and before he like was like, hey, here you go, buddy. Like, this is going to be awesome. And Dan gave it to me and was like, hey, my friend gave me this book. We should read it. I was like, oh, that's cool.
This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so we'll fast forward real quick and say how we met, and you can say your version of it. I was at the nude beach, and I am a regular at Hullover. Unfortunately, I don't live down there anymore. Tear, and I'm a regular. I love it there. When I did live down there, I was there like twice a week. I was up further than you and your husband earlier, and there were some New Yorkers there, and all they were doing was complaining about everything in life. And I was like, I cannot sit by these people a second longer. So I pulled my blanket down closer to the water, and your hubby he's like, hey, can I ask you something? And I was like, okay. And I looked at you because I want to make sure it was okay with you, because I was like, I don't know what's happening. And I always want to check in with the wife or the partner. And he had asked me if I was a regular. I'm like, yeah. And then he asked me about etiquette. And I was like, just be yourself. Like, we all got the parts. They just look a little different on everybody. So anyway, and he had mentioned that you two were, what did he say, like exploring or like trying to diversify, if you will, like your life experiences after 20 odd years of marriage. But I would be curious what your perspective was of how we met and what that meant for you.
Yes, that's so funny. So we went there, and like my husband had a business event down in Florida. And before he found out about his event, he's like, hey, I really, for a couple of weeks, had been saying, I really want to go to a nude beach. I was like, oh.
Like just any nude beach. Yeah. Does he even know that I am?
No, he's just like he's like, I want to go with you to a nude beach.
What's your thought on that? Because not every woman is up for every guy's great idea.
We have been like just figuring out what we believe and what we've been taught, and like figuring out our own paradigm, and like just kind of what fits. And so we'd been discovering that separately but also together, and like supporting each other in our like personal growth and our just journey of finding out more about each other and ourselves. So I was like, well, I don't want to go to a nude beach. I don't really love the idea of people looking at me. And at the time I was like, I really like if a guy, not even attractive, we'll say just any guy, like was like, oh, hey, she's really pretty, I would be so uncomfortable about that. I'd be like, oh, don't look at me. You're not talking about me. You must be talking about someone else. And so the idea of going to a nude beach where you're just like have nothing and there's no layers was terrifying. And because I didn't like to be seen at the time. So we go there and I was like sitting in on my towel and just feeling a little bit irritated because we're at this stupid new beach and I'm uncomfortable. And then I was like, no, this is my choice. This is by choice. I told Dan it was okay. I like, as we got closer to the trip, I was like, you know what might actually be fun, and this will be a good experience for me to practice being seen and to like just be literally naked in front of everyone so I can practice being emotionally naked. So I'm sitting there kind of grumpy. It's like, nope, I'm not gonna be grumpy. This was my choice. I'm just gonna come back to myself. So I'm like sitting there breathing and breathing. And then you came down. Like I noticed you at first, and I was like, well, I don't want to sit in front of someone because then I'm blocking their view and also they can look at me. I was like, oh, that's okay. This lady seems okay. And so we sat in front of you and I'm just breathing, and Dan's like, he looked back there and saw you. He's like, go talk to that lady. He's like, you should go make a friend. I was like, no, no thanks. And then you came and moved next to us. And he's like, honestly, like she seems really confident. You should go talk to her. No. And so I'm like sitting with myself, like, okay. And then after I had like come back to myself and was like, okay, I can be here and be fully present here. Then he leaned over and was like, hey, can I ask you a question? And at the time I still was like, oh my gosh, why are you talking to someone? Like, now she's looking over here and she sees me. Ah, I'm trying to be invisible. And then like he went out in the ocean and we talked for like that 2 seconds, right? It was like nothing. And then I was like, you know what? I just really do want to learn how to be more confident. And I really do want to learn how to be seen and how to like have a boundary when someone sees me and to allow someone to see me and be like, cool, yeah, you can see me. And that's as far as it's going. Like you do whatever you want with this, but I'm holding myself. So yeah, so then I went out to the ocean. I was talking to Dan and I was walking back and you like,
yeah, you had your top off. I was real proud of you because you had your top on when you were sitting on the beach, and then you went out and you had your top off, and I was like, okay, girl, okay, baby steps.
Yeah, so I took my top off. I was like, I can do this much. Like this half is fine, and was enjoying the ocean. I came back and you like looked up from your book. I was like, okay, like this woman has something that I need to learn and that I want to talk to her about. So then we just sat with each other, and now we're friends. And we talked for a long time. It was really awesome.
We did. You came up to me like, can I ask you something? Girl, you don't know who you sat next to. Go ahead, sit down. Well, and I want to go back when you said clothes on or clothes off. The idea of someone looking at you is like, ugh, like, don't look at me. Tell me more about what that is. Because I had this flash where you were saying that, and I thought, is it because you're not allowed to let anyone find you attractive except your husband? Or like, what is it, do you think, that prior to maybe more so now, when you and I first started talking, the idea of someone finding you attractive was really uncomfortable for you? And you know what that was about, if you could look back on that and kind of hypothesize what it was about, what you would make of it or think of it if some person found you attractive.
Yeah, well, I think it's a couple of things. I think it's both like that old idea that a man's sexuality is my responsibility. And so if someone found me attractive, I'd be like, oh, that's on me. Sorry, dude. Like, oh no, don't look over here. Yeah. Like, I'm not responsible for you.
I will make you unpure, so I got it. And I'm over here like, let me make you unpure. I can pump you up. Seriously. I'll turn your world inside out. That's how I lived my entire 20s and 30s and some of my 40s.
That's awesome. No. So I think that was some of it. Like some of it was like, I don't want to be responsible for you.
Well, that would be a huge responsibility. That's right. A burden.
Yeah. And then the other part of it was I didn't know how to hold a boundary for myself. So even if I wasn't responsible, like I felt like if someone saw me, then they would take advantage of me, and I didn't know how to, like, not sexually necessarily, but like emotionally or sexually, like either one. Yeah. I didn't know how to hold myself and protect myself. And so I was like, would rather really be invisible because of those two things. And I don't want to make my husband uncomfortable too. Like, I love him and we're in a committed relationship. But yeah, it took a minute. to figure out, let people see me.
That was early December of 2025. Now, fast forward, we're in March of 2026, and I'm already looking at a woman who is way more confident than when I first
Yeah.
met you. Granted, again, you're at the nude beach. It was a first experience for you. You were probably already feeling a little vulnerable. And I've noticed you've done more Facebook Lives. You know, you're putting yourself out there and kind of where you're at with writing your book. And you and I talked about getting attention and putting yourself out there and not worrying about the feedback you get back if it's not helpful feedback, you know, because we were talking about people pleasing. So what's been the process since you and I met that you have been, say more about how you have been putting yourself out there and setting boundaries? What does that look like for you now?
The process has been just like practice. It has just been sitting with myself, like really just knowing how to connect with my own voice and my own heart, and like knowing who I am. And it's taken practice. Like there's been some uncomfortable situations that I've been in and that Dan's like taken me to. Anyway, so we'll just like, there's been, I was like, not like forcefully, but like, he just is pushing me to continue to know myself. And so I used to be an avoider, and he knows that about me. And so he's just like gently being like, okay, like here's the next step. Like you want to grow. And so we're going to step into the situation where you're uncomfortable. And I'm going to help you step there. Because
I will say, yeah, because I mean, at first when you told me when I was behind you and he was like, oh, you should go talk to her, I would have been like, shut up. You go talk to her. Like, what? Don't tell me what to do. And then even when I moved my blanket closer to you two, and he's like, okay, here she is. Maybe you should talk. I'd be like, I'm ready to throat punch this guy. At the time, it did put the thought in, like, maybe I should talk to her. And then you ended up coming to talk to me, which is great because now here we are in each other's worlds.
Right.
So in a way, it was like, I'm kind of annoyed with him, but I'm glad that he did that.
Yes, exactly. It works out great. That is mostly our relationship. I'm just kidding.
You know, I will say, I've never been married. I don't know. And there's a couple I really admire, and I work with them in their mastermind currently. And I followed them for like 15 years. So I've seen some of their relationship, not all of it, obviously, and only through social media. I don't know them intimately. And they've had different times in their life where, you know, he was kind of successful in putting work toward his personal growth, and she had to catch up. And then she really took off like a rocket ship, and she was working on herself and really bettering herself physically and mentally. And he was kind of being a stick in the mud and realized, well, she's going to not be as attracted to me if I don't like, I can't just be down here being like negative and not growing and taking care of myself. So I think partners, from only observation, not experience on my side, is like, you don't always grow at the same time, but you kind of challenge each other and grow. And each person kind of grows as you both get better and better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it makes sense.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to share about your book and how you're putting yourself out there in that way. And also anyone interested in your story, because I don't know much about Mormonism. And then, of course, getting to share that and you, because you're unique in your experience in that. So talk about your book and where folks can find you if they are interested in hearing your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook, just Eliza Lake, or you can email me at Compass and Flame. That's my coaching business that I'm starting, my company.
This is like fucking breaking news. You didn't even tell me. Okay. Breaking news on Morgan's podcast.
Now just in.
What is it? Compass and Flame?
Yes, Compass and Flame is what it's called. Okay. Yes, it's great.
Okay, and then your book, say more about the book.
Yeah, so my book tentatively is called The Third Option, The Third Option, Finding Wholeness. Maybe you guys can help me. Or I was going to say Me First, The Third Option to Wholeness. But I kind of like the Me First part. I don't know.
I like that. It grabs first. Because the third option, right away, my curiosity was piqued. I was like, wait, what's the third option? Like, immediately, I wanted to know what the third option was. That one is kind of catchy. I like that. Like, anyone that's curious. Yeah. And maybe then the subtitle is like Me First, blah, 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 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it's called.
And talk about the book. Is that you're still, because when I saw one of your Facebook Lives, you said you were still wrapping up some chapters. Do you have a tentative release date?
No, hopefully soon. So I don't know. I know that I'll be done writing I'm just like revising a couple of things because it's been really cool because I wrote like the bones of the book. And then like I've lived and experienced what I'm talking about. And then I've gone, as I went to review the chapter, I was like, oh, actually, this is what I was trying to say. It's like so much deeper than my first like bones part. So that's been really fun. And I just have I think one more chapter. I'm hoping to be done this week with my revision. I know. And then like we have to promote it and stuff, and then it will be ready. But I think they said once I'm done, like 2 months after my revision is done, then it'll be available on Amazon.
That's awesome. You're self-publishing?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I have a publishing company that's helping me, but it's my book. Yeah.
That is
awesome.
Yeah. To wrap, I would love to hear what your motto in life is. Do you have a motto in life or something that you live by?
Yes. My motto in life is to come back home to yourself. Like it's your answers, whatever you're seeking is always right here. Always right here.
That is perfect.
So that's just, it's back inside. And to be gentle and slow is my motto lately. It's like, just be slow. Because change feels like it needs to be this big, really big thing. And like my process when I was on the beach, it was like, oh, I have to be confident. And so I'm going to like walk like I'm confident and I'm going to just fake it till I make it. But that's not how it worked. It was a bunch of really small decisions. Like every day being like looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? Damn it, you're beautiful, Eliza. Like, yeah, I am actually. Thank you. Or being like, I just went to this retreat and this guy was really interested in me and I just let him be interested in me. That's okay. Like I am married and nothing's happening, but you can find me attractive. Like that's cool. Soak it in, dude.
Good for you. That's awesome. New boundary and not worrying about other people's feelings and managing their feelings. You're like, I'm an attractive woman and I am a loyal, faithful woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's actually not my responsibility and quite frankly, none of my business what someone else is doing. Like,
girl, you have come a long way since we first met.
Yes, I have.
You are an activator. I'm like that too. Tell me what to do and I go do it. You're like, all right, new plan 2026. I'm just going to give her, and you have.
Yeah, thank you.
I am so very happy and grateful that you came on. So thank you so much.
Me too. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If today's episode hit you in your heart, please take a second and leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps more women like you find this show, and that is exactly the point. If you're ready to stop feeling self-conscious and start feeling like yourself again, grab my free guide, Self-Conscious to Sexy in 10 Minutes. It's a 4-step reset to get yourself out of your head and back into your body feeling confident and sexy. The link is in the show notes. Go to morganbarkis.com. You can explore everything else I have to offer, including my coaching program, my mission, and how you can work with me. Come find me on Instagram at Morgan Barkis and send a DM. I love hearing from you. Until next time, stay unapologetic.